Hello, lovely people of YouTube. This is Zort Rider here, and I'm a little bit late doing my wanking this month.
Robot Wankers, a bunch of wankers who look like robots. Yeah!
So this month we've been challenged by the rest of the wankers to do a collection video which shows your Transformers collection. Now, I have recently done one of these videos, which put me in a little bit of a disadvantage because I didn't want to skip this month and I didn't want to not do a Wankers video. Also, I'm planning on moving house and I've started to pack away some of my collection. I've packed away, all my Primal Autobots, some of my Generations and Reveal the Shields, all my RID stuff, just to get like a head start on packing the stuff. So I thought, what could I do this month? I will put a description below for the videos that I've previously done my full collection, so if anyone of you wants to see that, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, so this month I thought, well, let's focus on a specific aspect of my collection. And what I've noticed from the videos that I do is that I get more views talking about knockoffs than any other type of video that I've done, apart from my, I think it was top 16 of 2016, which had some knockoffs in there. So what I thought I'd do today is give you a quick rundown of my collection of knockoff Transformers. So let me give you my definition of a knockoff. This is mine. This is not anyone else's. This is just for the purpose of this video. My definition of a knockoff Transformer is a Transformer that's been produced by either Hasbro or third-party company, and then another company has copied that figure and sold that figure. They may have done some parts to it. They may have made it better, which some people argue that is the case. I'm one of those people that argue that. They may have made it bigger, but that's what I'm classing as a knockoff, just for the sake of this video, so I can talk you through my collection. So the first knockoff I've got is one that I've had for a long time. Well, a good 4 years ago, when I started to get back into collecting. Actually, it was less than that, about 3 years ago. I went to Comic Con in London with my sister, and I saw a Predaking there, and I was just getting back into picking up some Transformers, playing with them again. I always wanted a Predaking, never had one. Saw it for, I think it was £115, managed to get it for £100. So I bought that from the stall. I also got a G1 Cyclonus with his box. But I also picked up this little guy. Now, it was in a box, and I kept it boxed for about, a year or so. Until one day I actually realised it was a knockoff. I thought it was some kind of undersized thing. My naivety towards collecting Transformers after being away so long. And I opened it up. And it's cool. It's a replica of the G1 Starscream. The stickers were crap. They wouldn't come off. These are different repro labels. The missiles are vicious and they fire at some speed that can take your eye out. But he didn't have any bloody hands in there, so he's stuck forever in his playing mode. It's cool. It's okay. It's a weird little novelty knockoff. The nose cone's a bit bent. But you know what? It looks quite cool. And I think I paid something stupid, like £25 for it. How bloody gullible was I? While we're on the subject of novelty knockoffs, I really wanted to do a model kit, a Transformers model kit, and have a go at painting one. And I couldn't really find any. Not for a decent price. But then I saw this cheap knockoff oversized G1 Soundwave, so I thought I'll get that. I'll strip it down. I'll paint it up and I'll see how it looks. And I'm not 100% happy with it. I have done better custom since, but here he is. So he did look really cheap and tacky. Now he looks a little bit like like he tripped and fell through Games Workshop, but never mind. It's still quite a cool thing. It does come with a knockoff Ravage and a knockoff Laserbeak. And actually, because, as I mentioned earlier, I am moving house, I am trying to move some bits, and I've actually listed him on eBay. Not for a lot of money, but he's one of a kind, bless him. But it's cool. I was really happy with his face anyway. While we're on the subject of cheap and nasty knockoffs, there is no shop in the UK that does better knockoffs than B&M. You'll see in one of my videos from the other week where I will show some oversized protector bots. They're terrible. I've actually sold them on eBay. I've sold them for £13, bought them for £15. So you know what? I've only made a couple of quid loss on them, but they weren't good. But before Christmas, there was a KO Hexatron in there, which was a cool little thing, and I managed to buy one, and being a bit bored I customised it, so I actually customised mine, and I've done a video on this as well. I won't dwell on it too long, but into a Grimlock. It looks a bit war within, eh? I love the sword. Done his double barrel gun as well. So yeah, and he's got a Titan Master head, which does come off and does still transform. So yeah, he is a knockoff, but he's a knockoff that I've actually made into something unique. So another oversized figure here is this knockoff version of Cyber Battalion Megatron. I've never actually seen the original versions of these. I think they are a little bit smaller than this, but I picked this guy up for £10 from AliExpress. He's cool, bit of die cast. He had a dodgy label there, which is why I've put the Combiner Wars stickers on there, just to make him look a little bit more Megatron-y and hide that terrible badge that was on there. But it's cool, it's a bit of fun. Yeah, more of a novelty knockoff. So I think you'll probably all agree up until this point that those figures are probably a lot of fun. And we're getting into a little bit of the controversy section here. So this is where it's a straight like-for-like rip-off. Okay, so I'm going to run through. These are the masterpieces that I've got that are knockoff Transformers. So in no particular order, I've got the Robot Formers Ironhide. A very cool figure. I do have the original Ratchet, which is great. Picked up him. Yeah, I think it was about 25 quid. Every bit as good as the original, but he has no soul. But hey ho, never mind. So this is a knockoff Pro. Now this is where the KOs get a little bit deceiving. Ironhide had Robot Formers on the box. You could tell he was a fake. Prowl here, just a straight rip-off. Now you can kind of tell apparently because their face sculpt is a little bit different. You can also tell by he's got really one quite dodgy, well both of them are a little bit dodgy legs. But he looks apart, and you know what? I own the Smokescreen. I bought him at Auto Assembly actually, and I didn't want to spend another 60 quid for the same toy, essentially the same engineering. And he does the job. He's not too bad, but he, as I say, is a bit loose. Now Wheeljack, on the other hand, is again another straight rip-off of a masterpiece figure, but he is perfect. No loose joints, everything snugs into place, good paintwork. It'd be hard to tell if he was the original or not. I know Retro Prime's done a video 24 hours with Wheeljack. Check that out. It's a really cool concept that he's doing there, and I really hope he keeps it up. But Wheeljack actually causes me a little bit of a moral issue, and let me explain why. The majority of knockoff Takara figures I have, or Hasbro figures I have, I already own one of the mould. So, for example, Ironhide I own, Ratchet, Prowl I own, Smokescreen. I own one of the original moulds, so I don't feel too bad about buying a knockoff version. Wheeljack I don't, and he's so good that I might actually end up having to buy an official exhaust just to even this out. I've got a knockoff Buzzsaw. Now, I had 4 of the cassettes that were all knockoffs, because I had Sound Blaster. Actually, yeah, there he is. I'm selling him actually, because I bought him thinking he was my Soundwave, because I didn't think I'd get a Soundwave. He's original, he's official. and I bought the knockoff cassettes just to have a display, which was great. But then they reissued Soundwave, so I didn't actually need this guy anymore. I've kept Ratbat, but I'm getting rid of him. And what I also did was I sold the Rumble, the Frenzy, and the Ravage, I think it was, cassettes. And I was going to sell Buzzsaw, but the problem is I bought that Hasbro set with all the cassettes in there apart from Ratbat. And the Hasbro version of the cassette, I don't know if you can see some of the paint on there, is that loose and that fragile and terrible paintwork. I ended up keeping the knockoff cassette to display in Condor mode. So yeah, it's an example of when a knockoff is sometimes better than the original. And to that point, we have the knockoff seekers. These are the kubianbao versions. There are some Yes model versions that give you more cartoon accurate colours, which I really wish I'd done with the Thundercracker at least, because of that beautiful blue colour he was in the cartoon. But I'm happy with this Thundercracker. I have the 3 jets. I'll quickly run through those now. So I've got Thundercracker. I have Skywarp. And of course, the main man himself, I have Starscream. These are great value for money. I think they ended up costing me about £65 each, imported from TF Direct. I'm not sure what the prices are on there at the moment, but again, I never thought I'd be able to own all 3 of these. I did go to TFN last year with the intention of picking up a real one of these. The only one that was there was one without the ceremony kit, which is there, and I think it was £120 for him. I do own the MP3 mould, Starscream, or the green screen one, which, in my moral head, they're virtually the same things with a few little tweaks. That makes it kind of okay for me to buy these. But it's a cool thing, and I'm comfortable with them being knockoffs as well. They sit on my shelf. I probably play with them more than the official MPs, because if I break them, they're not going to cost that much to replace compared to an original one of these. And as I said before, the quality controls on these are so much better than the Hasbro originals. Junkeep Dave, my good friend, bought a Ramjet, and he ended up snapping in two. His hips were that loose. And these are like £150 figures from Takara. Sorry if I keep saying Hasbro, Takara. They're £65. They do the job. They look great on the shelf. And you know what? If it comes to the point where I want to get rid of them, which I probably never will anyway, then I've seen them hold the value, if not make a little bit of a profit on them. So there you go. But the main thing is these things look amazing on the shelf. I have a Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. I have got the trailer, I have got his axe. Picked him up from TF Direct. It cost me about £80 compared to £160. Hasbro version, pretty much identical, to be honest with you. Had a few problems with the legs getting stuck in during transformation. Plastic's a little bit swirly in places, but that kind of works with the character it's meant to be. Yeah, he's a cool figure. So the next section of the video is where I've got knockoffs of third-party figures. Now, don't ask me why, but I feel less bad about having these. Probably because that third-party companies are already making a profit off someone else's idea, so they can't moan when someone else has taken their idea and makes a profit out of it. But nevertheless, these are oversized figures compared to what the originals were. They have got some improvements. You'll see from one of them that it actually isn't the best quality, which you'll see in a moment. But yeah, this is the third-party KO section of the video. I've also been picking up some of these oversized throttle bots. They work out about between £10 and £14 each, imported from Japan. And there's some really good figures here. So we've got a Gold Bug, as you can see, looking really cool. It's nice tight joints. And we've got Searchlight. I'm terrible with these names, by the way. I can't remember the Throttlebox names. But Searchlight, both of them look really cool. Nice big chunky figures. Pretty simple transformations. So I've picked up those two. I also have these two. I always forget this dude's name, so I'm really sorry. But he is a pretty cool figure. His head looks a little bit out of proportion. It's a bit annoying you can't get a flat Autobot logo on there, but that's not a problem with the knockoff. That's a problem with the original toy, which was a little bit smaller, by the way. And I've got Chase. I had him last week, I think I had him. He's the biggest pile of tat I've ever bought. Well, actually not. R.I.D. Starscream is the biggest pile of tat I've ever bought. But whereas the other three feel top quality figures, this guy has just got paint chips everywhere. His headlights have fallen off. If all KOs were like this, I wouldn't buy them, because this is a dodgy pair of Levi's on your holiday in Spain. Levi's with two S's. This is what this thing is. It's not good. It's not good. It's not as good as the other ones, even though it's made by the same people, and it's a shame. But saying that, you know what? For the price, less than a Legends figure now. I mean, I've seen some of the mini RID things going for £8 these days. He was 11. So, you know what? And they are going to unite. I might get the entire set and combine them up. Yeah, I don't know. And finally, we have the big man himself, Jinbao, oversized Warbatron Bruticus. Probably the best knockoff I own. Some people say that if you make something bigger or smaller than what it originally was, it's not classed as a knockoff. It's more of a novelty item. Well, this thing's great. It's made improvements. I've done a review of it. It looks stunning. I've had to take one of the shelves out in order to fit him on a shelf. He's amazing. He's a great figure. One of the best Transformers I own, just for sheer stature and presence when you look at him. He's a great figure. So, I hope you enjoyed my little walk around my collection of knockoff Transformers. Things I've got in the pipeline. I've noticed on TF Direct that they've started to advertise a knockoff of the third-party Chrome Dome. Very tempted by him. I haven't been buying that many bots recently, as I say, because I'm planning on moving house and all that stuff. But he looks pretty cool, and I've been tempted to jump on this RC bandwagon, but I don't know. I'm not quite convinced yet, I'll say. I've got some sales on eBay, which hopefully should bring in a little bit of money. I will give a shout out to the rest of the wankers. Not sure what we're doing next month. I'll have to let you know. I believe that SMS number 1 has invited me and Borders Dude to be on the TFYTC, what's it called? Podcast, that's the thing. Next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Never been involved in one of those before. Hope I can behave myself on that. Hope you have a good week at work, and don't feel too down because there's another couple of bank holidays on the way.